Welcome to the deep dive. Do you ever just find yourself, well, constantly reacting?
Oh, absolutely.
The world today, it just feels like this relentless torrent, doesn't it?
It really does. Nonstop.
You got the endless news alerts, the pressures from work, the constant scroll on social media.
Unexpected global stuff, personal things.
Yeah. It feels like we're all just trying to navigate this tiny little rowboat in the middle of a hurricane, Just trying to keep our heads above water.
Desperately paddling.
Exactly. And in a world that just feels so often chaotic, unpredictable, and frankly kind of out of our control. Where do we even start? Where do you find stability or that inner peace everyone talks about?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Well, today we're going on a really fascinating journey. We're not looking forward into the latest tech or trend, but actually we're going way back.
All the way back.
All the way back to ancient Rome. We're looking for some surprisingly potent and really practical answers from maybe one of history's most unexpected sources, Marcus Aurelius.
The Roman emperor himself.
Yeah, a Roman emperor, a guy who, you could argue faced some of the most intense external pressures imaginable.
Military campaigns, political chaos, plagues.
Betrayal, personal loss, the whole nine yards. And yet he was also this incredibly deep, introspective thinker.
Right.
And our main guide for this deep dive is drawn from sources like Marcus Aurelius, Timeless Stoicism from Modern Living, which makes it super clear that his personal philosophy, Stoicism, it isn't just some dusty old history lesson.
Not at all. Or some abstract thing only academics care about.
Exactly. What's become really obvious is that his approach offers this remarkably powerful and genuinely practical framework for personal growth, for resilience.
Even today. Especially today, maybe.
Right. Even in today's fast-paced, often overwhelming world. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We're going to try and extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights from Marcus Aurelius' teachings.
And specifically how they can actually help you right now.
Yes, exactly. How they can meaningfully impact your life. And this isn't just theory, It's kind of a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed on how you can navigate modern challenges with this almost ancient, unshakable kind of strength.
A practical toolkit.
Totally. We're going to explore 6 core Stoic principles that when you really understand them and, crucially, apply them, they offer incredible clarity, they help build real resilience, and they sort of light up a clearer path towards a more meaningful, purposeful life.
Sound good.
Okay, let's unpack this.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is just how relevant these centuries-old ideas still feel. It's not just like an academic curiosity.
No.
It speaks directly to the timelessness of, well, the human condition, right? As you said, Marcus Aurelius was grappling with huge issues: power, war, betrayal, mortality, big stuff.
The biggest.
Yet his insights into managing the inner self, into cultivating a really robust internal world, they're just incredibly applicable to our modern anxieties.
It's uncanny sometimes.
It really is.
Yeah.
Despite all our tech advances and societal shifts, the core challenges haven't fundamentally changed that much. Living a good life, dealing with uncertainty, finding peace when everything feels chaotic, figuring out our place in the grand scheme of things.
It's like the human operating system hasn't had a major update in millennia, even if the external apps are constantly changing.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and the first principle, probably the most foundational one we need to dig into for Marcus Aurelius, is this: control what you can, let go of the rest.
It's a big one.
Yeah. And on the surface, it sounds so simple, doesn't it? Almost like common sense, but the profound implications and honestly the difficulty of really living it, that's huge.
Indeed. It's the absolute cornerstone of Stoic thinking, often called the dichotomy of control.
Right.
Marcus Aurelius himself wrote these words down almost like a personal mantra, in his meditations. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And that's not just like a gentle suggestion. It's really an imperative for mental well-being, a directive to consciously sort through your experiences.
So, okay, if that's the core idea, what does this actually look like for us today? Because let's be real, we spend a huge amount of mental and emotional energy stressing, worrying, maybe even agonizing over things that are just fundamentally not in our power to change.
We absolutely do.
What are some of those common traps? Where do we typically misplace all that energy?
Precisely. Just think about the sheer mental bandwidth we chew up daily. worrying about stuff completely outside our sphere of influence. The source material hits this perfectly.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Okay, well, for instance, other people's opinions. How much time do we spend obsessing over, say, a critical comment on social media?
Yeah, or something a colleague said offhand.
Exactly. Or even just the perceived judgment of strangers on the street. We might replay it endlessly in our heads, trying to figure out why they said it or how we can change their mind.
Right, trying to control their thoughts.
But you have absolutely zero control over what someone else thinks or says about you. Zero. The only thing you can control is your reaction to it.
Okay.
And look, this isn't about pretending it doesn't sting or suppressing that initial flash of anger or hurt. That's natural.
Right. You feel what you feel.
You feel what you feel. It's about recognizing that feeling, letting it be there without judgment, and then consciously choosing not to let it dictate your next thought or your next action.
Okay, that pause.
That critical pause between the external event and your internal response, that's where the power is. That's where your freedom lies. Or think about outcomes. You can prepare like crazy for a job interview, right? Research the company, rehearse your answers, give it your absolute best shot.
Do everything right.
Everything within your power. But you cannot control whether you actually get the job. Yeah. That final decision. It rests with other people, other factors, totally beyond your influence.
That's a hard one to accept sometimes.
It is. Similarly, market fluctuations. Your investments, the wider economy, largely uncontrollable. You can manage your risk, choose how you invest, sure, but you can't dictate the market's ups and downs.
Nope.
And then there's the past. Oh boy. Regrets, missed opportunities, things you wish you'd have done differently.
Stuff that keeps you up at night.
Exactly. But it's fixed. Done. You cannot change it no matter how much you replay it or beat yourself up over it. Your energy is far better spent learning from it and applying those lessons now in the present.
Makes sense.
And finally, external events. Those global news headlines that just spike everyone's anxiety. The weather that suddenly ruins your carefully planned weekend picnic.
Or that insane traffic jam that makes you late for something important.
Right. All of these things are external, they're unpredictable, and frankly, they're just beyond your direct control.
It really sounds like we spend so much time just pushing against a brick wall, you know, wasting all this precious energy and getting nowhere except frustrated or angry or anxious.
That's a perfect description. It's exhausting.
It's exhausting just thinking about how much we do it.
It is. So the Stoic wisdom, the thing Marcus Aurelius practiced and taught, is to make that distinction crystal clear. What's in your control and what's not.
Okay, so what is in our control then?
Your own actions, your choices, your efforts, and crucially, your attitude that includes your perspective, your judgments, how you interpret things, and your responses.
Ah, the internal stuff.
Exactly. How you choose to respond to that nasty social media comment. How diligently you choose to prepare for the interview, regardless of the outcome. How you choose to spend your time now instead of getting lost in the past. How you choose to react when you're stuck in that traffic jam.
So it's an active choice.
It's an active, conscious, and honestly continuous choice. It needs constant vigilance, constant practice. You have to keep steering your attention back to where it actually makes a difference. But that's precisely where your real, profound power lies.
Yeah.
And again, it's not about being emotionless, like some kind of robot. It's about emotional mastery, choosing how you respond to your emotions rather than just being swept away by them.
Right. I like that analogy you used earlier. It really is like steering your own boat in choppy waters rather than trying to calm the entire ocean.
Precisely.
You can't stop the waves, the storms will come, but you can learn to navigate them effectively. You can trim your sails, hold your course. And that shift, even just a subtle shift in focus, feels incredibly empowering. Liberating, even.
Absolutely. It frees up so much mental space.
Yeah.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the implications are just massive. Like you said, this isn't about apathy. It's not about not caring about the world.
No, definitely not.
It's about strategic energy allocation. Think about it. By recognizing and then consciously disengaging from all that fruitless worry over things you can't control, you immediately cut off a huge source of anxiety and frustration.
You just reclaim all that mental energy.
You reclaim it. Imagine the mental space, the emotional energy you get back. And this newfound clarity lets you focus your energy where it's actually effective on your choices, your efforts, your responses, your character development.
So instead of fuming about a colleague's comment.
Right. You channel that energy into, say, improving your own work or practicing a skill or maybe just enjoying your evening without that cloud hanging over you.
And the result of redirecting that energy.
A profound sense of inner peace. that tranquility that comes from accepting what's outside your control and pouring your effort into what truly is yours to manage. That's a cornerstone of Stoic contentment. It's incredibly liberating. It frees you from so much external turbulence.
That's a really powerful thought to carry into your day. So for you listening right now, maybe take a second and consider this. Is there one specific area in your life, maybe it's a recurring worry, a dynamic in a relationship, a challenge at work, where you find yourself consistently stressing over something uncontrollable? An event, someone else's behavior? How might applying this principle, really focusing only on your own actions, your choices, your attitude within that situation, how might that start to change your experience of it? Could it free up some of that precious mental bandwidth? Just, something to mull over.
Definitely worth thinking about.
Okay, building on that idea of internal control, internal mastery, let's move to our second principle. And this one feels very intimate and personal. It's daily reflection builds self-awareness.
Ah, yes. The meditations themselves are the prime example.
Right. Our source material tells us Marcus Aurelius regularly wrote in his meditations, but not for publication, right? Not for us, necessarily.
Right. It seems it was entirely for himself.
It was just his own personal practice to examine his own behavior, his thoughts, his actions, like a rigorous self-check-in.
Exactly. His meditations are essentially his private journal. Raw, unvarnished conversations with himself. It's this extraordinary, really unprecedented window into the mind of a leader grappling with the day-to-day challenges of immense responsibility.
In doing it through constant self-inquiry.
Yes. And the core of it is that very simple act. Quiet, consistent reflection.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? He just wrote. And that simple act, that daily check-in with his inner world, it turns out to be so incredibly powerful.
Absolutely.
Especially maybe in our modern world, with the constant external noise, the notifications demanding our attention, the information overload. It feels almost revolutionary to just be still and think.
It really does.
So what does that process of self-awareness truly unlock for us today? Why is it so important?
It is absolutely vital. The modern impact of this practice, whether you do it through traditional journaling, maybe use a reflection app, or just carve out a few minutes of quiet thought each day, it's immense for cultivating genuine self-awareness.
And what does true self-awareness really mean here?
Well, it's way more than just knowing your favorite color or what music you like.
Right.
It's about deeply understanding your own motivations. Why do you do the things you do? What truly drives your choices deep down? It's about identifying your triggers. What consistently upsets you? What makes you react impulsively? What pulls you off course?
Knowing your buttons, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's also about acknowledging your authentic strengths and weaknesses. Not in a harsh, judgmental way, but with an objective, maybe even compassionate eye. This detailed self-knowledge is just foundational for any real personal growth. You simply cannot manage what you don't understand about yourself.
So it's like you're building this meticulous, always evolving map of your own internal landscape, instead of just wandering around blindly hoping for the best.
That's a perfect analogy. Exactly. And when you reflect regularly, you start to notice patterns.
Oh, okay.
You might realize, for instance, I consistently procrastinate on tasks that require deep focus, or that particular type of interaction always makes me feel defensive.
Or maybe positive patterns, too.
Absolutely. You might discover, wow, I get really energized by creative problem solving, or I really thrive when I have autonomy. Noticing these recurring thoughts, these emotional responses, these behavioral tendencies, that's the critical first step. Then you can consciously choose to change them or leverage them. It's like gathering highly personal data on yourself that lets you sort of debug your own system.
Debug your own system. I like that.
Furthermore, reflection is just an unparalleled tool for growing from mistakes. Instead of just dwelling on errors with shame or regret, which is totally unproductive, debilitating even.
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah. Reflection lets you analyze what happened, why it happened, and critically, what can I do differently next time? It transforms errors into valuable lessons. Failures become feedback.
So it creates this positive feedback loop.
A really powerful feedback loop for continuous personal development. And maybe most powerfully, this consistent self-awareness allows you to consciously calibrate your actions with your deeply held values. Well, let's say you genuinely value integrity and honesty. But maybe you notice through reflection that you sometimes find yourself compromising those principles, maybe for convenience or to fit in.
Right.
Daily reflection helps you notice that misalignment. It shines a light on it. And then it can gently guide you back onto a path that feels more authentic, more aligned with who you want to be. It's about consciously aligning your daily choices with your true north, basically. And that leads to greater integrity, a stronger sense of self, and ultimately a deeper sense of meaning in your life.
So reflection isn't just looking back, it's actively shaping the future too.
It's a dynamic process of self-discovery, definitely. Peeling back layers of conditioning, external expectations, figuring out what truly resonates as your authentic guiding principles.
Okay, but this raises a really important practical question, especially for our listeners. In our always-on, hyper-connected world, I mean, we're constantly bombarded with notifications, demands, distractions. How do we actually carve out the space for this quiet, internal work? It feels like modern life is almost designed against reflection sometimes. Just keep moving, keep consuming, keep reacting.
It's a significant challenge, no doubt, but it's an absolutely vital one. And the benefits, they go way beyond just personal growth. They ripple out.
How?
Well, improved decision-making, for one.
Yeah.
Because you understand your own biases and motivations better.
Makes sense.
And even better relationships. Because you understand your own role and interactions much more clearly. You can respond more thoughtfully, less reactively.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's a profound investment in yourself and your overall well-being. And look, it doesn't have to be hours. It could literally be 5 minutes of quiet thought before you go to sleep. Or jotting down a few lines in a notebook with your morning coffee.
Consistency over duration.
Exactly. The key is consistency, not necessarily the length of time.
I love that idea of it being a feedback loop for continuous improvement. It's not about reaching some mythical state of perfection.
Not at all.
But about the ongoing journey of becoming, your best self. So for you listening now, maybe consider incorporating just a few minutes of daily reflection into your routine. Maybe it is during that morning coffee or just before bed.
Whatever works.
Yeah. And don't feel pressured to keep a formal journal if that feels like too much. It could just be a quiet moment to mentally review your day, your thoughts. Just pay attention. What patterns start to emerge about your triggers, your motivations? When did you feel aligned with your values? When did you feel off?
That awareness is the first step.
Okay, let's shift gears to our third principle, and this one. This one is a real game changer, I think, for how we perceive and react to life's difficulties. Adversity is a tool for growth.
Ah, the tough one.
Yeah. Our usual instinct, right, is to recoil from pain, to avoid struggle, to try and bypass obstacles at all costs. But Marcus Aurelius, and Stoicism in general, just flips that thinking completely on its head. It's radical.
It is perhaps one of those counterintuitive, yet also profoundly transformative parts of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius gave us this incredible, almost poetic quote about it. He said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way."
Wow, see that again?
The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way.
Okay.
And it's not just like an inspiring phrase to put on a poster. It's intended as a practical guide for how to actually transmute challenges into advantages.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me because, like you said, it genuinely flips our usual thinking upside down. We're basically trained by society, almost from birth, to see problems as inherently bad.
As setbacks.
Yeah.
Frustration.
Things to just get over or get around as quickly as possible. But the Stoics are suggesting that problems, obstacles, difficulties, that they're actually indispensable opportunities. How do we even begin to wrap our heads around that and apply it?
Exactly. The modern impact of this perspective is just profound. Instead of seeing problems merely as frustrating setbacks that block our progress, you start to view them as these essential opportunities. Opportunities to grow, to innovate, to develop your character.
Okay, examples help here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's think about some diverse examples to make it concrete. Maybe a career setback.
Like getting passed over for a promotion.
Yeah, or a big project fails, or maybe you even face a layoff. Our initial, totally natural reaction might be frustration, anger, maybe self-pity.
Sure.
But through this Stoic lens, applying that principle of amor fati, which means love of fate, or embracing everything that happens, good and bad,
Okay.
it becomes an opportunity. That setback, it forces you to reevaluate your goals. Maybe it pushes you to pivot, to learn a new skill you wouldn't have otherwise bothered with. Or maybe it even helps you discover a completely different, more fulfilling career path you hadn't even considered.
So the impediment to the old path.
Becomes the path to a new, potentially better one. Exactly.
Okay, what about personal struggles?
Good question. Think about a personal struggle. Maybe a difficult breakup, or a significant health challenge, or even just a period of intense loneliness. This isn't just pain to be endured, it's a crucible. It's a chance to build deep emotional resilience, to discover inner strength you never knew you possessed, or maybe to clarify what truly matters to you in your relationships.
Finding strength in vulnerability.
Yes. Or even something seemingly more mundane, like a difficult conversation you need to have with a colleague or a family member.
Ugh, those are the worst.
We tend to avoid them.
Right.
But reframed, it's not just an unpleasant confrontation to dread. It's a moment to practice courage. Maybe the courage to speak your truth with clarity and compassion. Or maybe it's a moment to practice patience and deep listening. The obstacle itself forces you to practice the very virtues you need to develop.
So it's not about pretending the pain isn't there or putting on a brave face and saying everything's fine.
Not at all. That's not Stoicism.
It's about actively looking for the meaning within the difficulty. Extracting the lesson or finding that new door the closed one reveals, it sounds like a really active, conscious process.
Precisely. It's not passive acceptance of suffering, and it's definitely not pretending adverse circumstances are somehow pleasant. It's about acknowledging the reality, the pain, the difficulty, the frustration, and then actively seeking the meaning within it. What's the lesson here? What new path is this forcing me to forge?
Okay.
And that perspective is what allows challenges to actually sharpen your character,
Yeah.
to develop profound strength, practical wisdom, and that kind of unwavering resilience that serves you throughout your entire life. It's like, the saying about taking lemons and making lemonade.
Yeah.
The Stoic approach is like taking those lemons and figuring out how to build a whole lemonade stand empire from the experience.
Yeah.
It also connects to that Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum,
Which means...
premeditation of evils, basically mentally rehearsing potential challenges.
Yeah.
Not to be negative or invite bad luck, but to prepare yourself mentally so you can respond effectively and see the potential for growth within the challenge rather than just being surprised and overwhelmed when things inevitably go wrong.
It prepares you to find the opportunity.
Yes. And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is the active role you take. It's not passive acceptance. It's active transformation of the challenge. That phrase, what stands in the way becomes the way, just perfectly captures it.
It really does.
The obstacle itself forces you to find a new path, to innovate, to adapt. And often that leads you to a better, stronger, or maybe more creative solution than you would have found otherwise.
Like constraints breeding creativity.
Exactly. Think of inventors working with limited resources. Those very limitations often spark the most brilliant, outside-the-box thinking. This principle encourages that same mindset of resourceful innovation in all areas of your life, turning constraints into catalysts.
That is a truly powerful reframe. I mean, I can think of so many times in my own life where something felt absolutely devastating at the time, a real setback.
Right.
But then, looking back with hindsight, it actually led to something far better, or opened up a completely new, unforeseen opportunity.
It often works out that way, doesn't it?
It really does. So for you listening right now, take a moment and think back on your own life. Can you recall a past setback, something that initially felt like a huge problem, maybe even a failure, but looking back now, you can see how it actually led to significant growth, or opened up a new and better path? Reflect on that experience. You'll probably see this Stoic principle actively at work, even if you didn't call it that at the time. It often takes time and perspective to see it clearly, but the pattern is usually there.
It's a universal experience, I think.
Let's move on to our fourth core principle. And this one gives us a really clear, robust framework for how to actually live our lives day to day. It's like an internal guide. It's
Right.
live according to virtue.
Right, the moral compass.
Exactly. Marcus Aurelius, and the Stoics in general, placed immense emphasis on 4 key virtues. What are they again?
They are wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. Or temperance.
Okay. Wisdom, courage, justice, self-discipline.
And these aren't just, abstract concepts or some kind of old-fashioned stuffy ideals. They are, as our source material puts it, your guiding compass, your navigational stars.
I like the navigational stars.
They provide this incredibly robust framework for living ethically, effectively, and in a way that leads to genuine fulfillment. And that's true regardless of the era you live in or the external circumstances you face. They're like timeless blueprints for building good character.
I really resonate with that idea of them being a compass. It gives you something concrete to steer by, doesn't it? Especially when things feel murky or uncertain, when you're facing difficult decisions or moral gray areas.
Absolutely. In those moments, they provide clarity.
But let's break them down a bit, because these words, wisdom, courage, justice, self-discipline, they can mean slightly different things to different people, especially when we try to apply them in a modern context.
That's a great point. Let's look at each one through a modern practical lens. Okay, first, Wisdom. The Greek word is phronesis. This isn't just about being intelligent in an academic sense, like having a high IQ or memorizing facts from a textbook.
Not just book smarts.
No. It's practical wisdom. It's the ability to discern what is truly good, what is true, and crucially, what is the right thing to do in complex, ambiguous situations. It's the ability to see things clearly, without your own biases or emotional reactions clouding your judgment. To understand cause and effect, to make sound judgments that align with reality.
So, knowing what really matters.
Yes. It's about discerning what genuinely matters versus what's trivial or just a distraction. It's intelligence applied directly to the art of living well.
Okay, that makes sense. What about courage? The Greek is Andrea.
Right. We often jump to thinking about physical bravery, running to a burning building, that kind of thing.
Yeah, heroic acts.
And while physical bravery is certainly included in Stoicism, the primary focus is actually on moral courage.
Moral courage. Okay, what does it look like?
It's the courage to stand up for what's right, even when it's unpopular or inconvenient or just plain difficult. Like speaking truth to power in a meeting when everyone else is staying silent.
Ooh, that takes guts.
It really does. It's also facing uncomfortable truths about yourself or about the world, even when they challenge your deeply held beliefs. It's the daring to be vulnerable, maybe admitting when you're wrong or expressing your needs respectfully, even if your voice shakes a little.
It's more internal.
It's that inner fortitude to act in line with your values, despite fear, despite criticism, despite peer pressure. Think about the courage it takes to admit you made a significant mistake at work, even if it means facing criticism, because your integrity matters more to you than just looking perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So it's much more about internal strength, integrity, than just like raw physical strength or aggression. That makes a lot more sense, especially today where moral dilemmas pop up way more often than, say, fighting lions.
Exactly. Okay, next up, justice. Dikaiosine.
Justice.
Okay, this virtue covers a lot. It encompasses treating others fairly, acting with integrity in all your dealings, and contributing positively to the common good, to your community.
So how we interact with others.
Yes. It means recognizing our shared humanity, acknowledging that we're all interconnected, and acting in ways that benefit the whole, not just your own individual self-interest. It's about respecting rights, fulfilling your duties, acting impartially, and understanding that you are part of a larger community, a global polis, as the Greeks called it.
Thinking beyond just me.
Precisely. And it's also about acting kindly, with compassion, because you understand that other people are also navigating their own struggles, both internal and external, just like you are.
Empathy is part of justice, then.
Absolutely. And finally, self-discipline or temperance. Softer sign.
Self-discipline. Okay, I think I know this one.
It's about mastery over your own impulses, your desires, your emotions. It's about not being a slave to fleeting pleasures or the need for immediate gratification or those reactive emotional outbursts we sometimes have.
Keeping your cool.
Partly, yes. But it's also about consistency in pursuing your long-term goals, delaying gratification when necessary for a greater benefit later, maintaining emotional composure even when things are challenging or provoking. It's the ability to do what needs to be done even when you really don't feel like it.
Like going to the gym when it's cold and dark.
Exactly. And also, crucially, the ability to refrain from doing what you know is detrimental, even when you really crave it. It's the conscious regulation of your inner world to make sure your actions consistently align with your reason and your chosen values.
These four virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, self-discipline, they really do feel like a complete package, don't they? Like a holistic framework.
They absolutely do.
It feels like if you consciously try to live by these, you'd naturally make decisions that, well, feel right deep down. Decisions that resonate with your core self and help you avoid that awful, nagging feeling of regret later.
That's exactly the idea. Contrast living by these virtues with making decisions based on, say, what's easy, just taking the path of least resistance, avoiding necessary discomfort.
We all do that sometimes.
Or what's popular, just going along with the crowd, even if it kind of goes against your conscience. Or what's comfortable, avoiding any kind of challenge or growth edge. Living by virtue often requires choosing the harder path, maybe expressing the less popular opinion, or facing discomfort head-on.
But the payoff is different.
The payoff is a much deeper, more profound sense of satisfaction, authenticity, inner integrity. You know you've acted in alignment with your best self, even if it was hard. And that brings this unique, lasting peace that, frankly, external rewards or approval can never really provide.
that internal validation.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture again, these virtues aren't just isolated principles you pick and choose from. They're interconnected. They're mutually reinforcing. Well, wisdom informs courage. It helps you know when and how to be brave, rather than just reckless. Justice guides your self-discipline, making sure your actions benefit others and the community, not just yourself. And self-discipline enables all the others. It gives you the actual power to act virtuously, even when it's difficult or tempting not to.
They work together.
Together, they provide this really robust framework for navigating moral ambiguities, ethical dilemmas, tough choices in any era, whether it's ancient Rome or our digital age. They cultivate not just good actions, but ultimately a good character. And that, the Stoics believed, is the foundation of a life that feels truly meaningful, well-lived, and resilient, no matter what life throws at you.
That's incredibly insightful and practical, too. So for you listening right now, maybe take a moment to consider these 4 virtues again. Wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. Which of these do you feel you already embody pretty strongly in your daily life? And which one, maybe just one, might you want to consciously cultivate a bit further? Think about how you could work on it in your interactions, your decisions, your reactions, starting today.
Small steps.
Small steps. Okay, our 5th principle brings us to something that feels very current, very topical in modern wellness discussions, but actually has incredibly deep ancient roots.
Yeah.
It's practice mindfulness and presence.
Ah, yes. The buzzword of our time, perhaps?
Kind of, but our source notes that while Marcus Aurelius didn't use the exact term mindfulness, apparently that's a relatively recent coinage.
That's right.
His teachings strongly encourage being fully present, being aware of the now, paying deep attention to his current experience.
It's truly amazing, isn't it, how these ancient ideas just echo our modern understanding of well-being, especially now as we grapple with the mental health effects of constant distraction.
Totally.
Because the human mind's natural tendency to wander, to fret about the future or get stuck ruminating on the past, that's not some new problem created by smartphones.
It's always been there.
It's always been there. Marcus Aurelius clearly recognized the profound, draining impact of this mental drift. He saw it as a major source of unnecessary suffering. And he wrote often about the importance of attending to the present moment.
Right. We talk so much about mindfulness today, but it's clear this core concept, just being fully engaged in this moment, is absolutely timeless. So what does that look like for us, living these incredibly distracting lives where our phones are constantly buzzing and pulling us away from whatever is right in front of us?
The modern impact is significant and potentially transformative. A core part of this principle is actively avoiding those common mental pitfalls, endlessly overthinking the future or constantly dwelling on the past.
The what-ifs and the should-haves.
Exactly. We spend so much energy on what-ifs about tomorrow. What if I fail? What if this goes wrong? What if I'm not good enough? And equally, we get lost in the should-haves and could-haves from yesterday. I should have said that differently. I could have done that better if only I hadn't made that mistake.
It's exhausting.
It is. And these mental gymnastics are often totally unproductive, they're largely hypothetical, and they just drain our vital energy. They pull us away from the only moment we actually have any power over, which is right now, the present.
So what does being fully engaged in the present moment really mean then, in practice?
It means cultivating a heightened awareness, consciously. It means deliberately noticing the physical sensations in your body right now, the sounds happening around you, the actual conversation you're having, the task you're performing, the environment you're in, noticing it all as it happens.
It's in the details.
Yes, and it's about consciously, gently bringing your attention back to the here and now whenever your mind inevitably drifts off, which it will do constantly.
Right, the mind wanders.
So when you're eating, actually taste your food. Notice its texture, its aroma. When you're talking to someone, truly listen to them. Give them your undivided attention. Put the phone away. When you're working on a task, try to immerse yourself fully in it. Minimize the distractions. It's really about anchoring yourself in the concrete reality of this moment again and again.
It sounds like it requires this constant act of gently pulling your attention back, like a mental reset button you have to keep pressing throughout the day.
That's a great way to think about it.
Almost like training a puppy, it wanders off, and you just gently guide it back without getting frustrated.
Exactly. Gently and persistently. And this consistent practice, even if it feels difficult at first, improves so many aspects of your life. Firstly, your focus and effectiveness. When you're present, you're naturally less distracted. That means you're more effective, more efficient in whatever you're doing, work, learning, solving problems.
Makes sense.
Secondly, your relationships can deepen considerably. When you are truly present with other people, you put away your phone, you give them your full non-judgmental attention. You foster much deeper connection, empathy, understanding. People feel genuinely heard and valued, which is just fundamental to human connection.
That's huge.
And thirdly, your overall peace of mind. By reducing all that mental clutter, those endless loops of future anxiety and past regrets, you bring this profound sense of calm, clarity, and almost like internal spaciousness to your mind. It's like clearing out a noisy, cluttered room. You create space for tranquility.
Yeah, I feel calmer just hearing you describe it.
And what's really fascinating here, I think, is that the antidote to modern overwhelm often isn't more speed or more multitasking or consuming more information. It's frequently the exact opposite.
More presence.
More presence, more intentional slowing down. It's about slowing down your mind, even if the world around you keeps speeding up. And this also relates deeply to sensory awareness, to truly appreciating the simple, often overlooked joys of life that are only available to us right now in the present moment.
Like what?
Like the warmth of the sun on your skin, the smell of rain after a storm, the taste of a really good cup of coffee, the sound of someone laughing, the simple beauty of a tree outside your window. These moments are entirely fleeting, and they're only accessible when you are truly there to experience them.
You have to be present to catch them.
Exactly. Otherwise, they just pass by unnoticed while you're lost in thought.
That makes perfect sense. It's really about reclaiming your attention and therefore reclaiming your actual experience of life. So, for you listening right now, here's a simple challenge. Why not try a quick presence check at some point later today?
Good idea.
Just pause for a moment. Take maybe 3 deep breaths and just notice your immediate surroundings. What do you actually see right now? What sounds can you hear? What do you smell? What physical sensations are present? Just gently bring your mind fully to this very moment, even for just 10 seconds. See what a profound difference even a tiny dose of intentional presence can make in how you experience the rest of your day.
It's surprisingly powerful.
Now for our 6th and final principle from Marcus Aurelius, and this one. This one might sound a little heavy, maybe even a bit morbid at first glance, but stick with us because it's actually meant to be incredibly liberating and life-affirming. It's embrace mortality to value life.
Memento mori.
Exactly. The famous Stoic concept of memento mori, which literally translates to remember that you will die.
Yeah, sounds pretty grim, doesn't it?
It does. But this concept is so often misunderstood. People think it's about being morbid or pessimistic. But as our source material makes really clear, and as Marcus Aurelius himself clearly practiced it, it's actually quite the opposite.
Entirely the opposite. He famously wrote, almost like a command to himself, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think.
Wow, you could leave life right now.
Yeah. And that's not meant as a threat. It's not designed to induce fear or anxiety. Instead, it's intended as this powerful invitation, a profound call to urgency, to clarity, and to intentional living.
Okay, so unpack that. It's not about fearing death. It's about using the awareness of our limited time to live more fully, more purposefully.
Precisely. It's a tool for life, not about dwelling on death. The modern impact of this principle is exactly that. Rather than being morbid, this stark reminder actually compels you to live fully, with intention and with urgency. The finite nature of life, the fact that it will end, creates this undeniable clarity, creates urgency. It provides perspective.
It cuts through the noise.
Cuts through the noise. It's not about rushing around frantically or living recklessly, not at all. It's about consciously, deliberately choosing how to spend the precious, limited, non-renewable time that you have. When you truly internalize that your time isn't infinite, that tomorrow isn't guaranteed for any of us, it prompts significant, deliberate action.
How so? What kind of action?
Well, for example, it naturally makes you appreciate your loved ones with much greater depth. You stop taking those important relationships for granted when you remember they won't last forever.
Right.
You understand that each shared moment, each conversation, each hug, it's a precious, irreplaceable gift. It also prompts you to pursue what truly matters to you, to identify your core values, what gives your life meaning, and then allocate your time and energy accordingly. Instead of getting endlessly caught up in trivial pursuits or chasing external validation or just the relentless pursuit of more stuff, you start prioritizing meaningful experiences over superficial ones.
Makes you focus on the big picture.
Yes. And perhaps most powerfully, it encourages you to stop procrastinating. You know those important goals, those dreams you keep putting off, those difficult but necessary conversations or tasks you avoid?
We all have them.
We all have them. The awareness of mortality provides this gentle yet firm nudge to act on them now. It reminds you that the only moment you truly have to live the life you want to live, to pursue your purpose, to express your values, is this very moment, right now.
It's like this constant, quiet whisper in your ear, isn't it? A gentle drumbeat, just reminding you, prioritize what's genuinely important. Align your daily actions with your deepest values. It just strips away so much of the trivial stuff.
It really does.
Yeah.
It ensures you're making conscious choices that align with your purpose, rather than just drifting through life on autopilot, hoping things will work out someday.
Okay.
Now, this does raise an important practical question.
Okay.
How do we balance this sense of urgency, this call to live fully now, with the very real need for thoughtful planning, for pacing ourselves, for healthy enjoyment of life, and avoiding burnout? It's not about living recklessly or burning the candle at both ends until you collapse.
Right. It's got to be sustainable.
It has to be sustainable. It's about living intentionally. And this perspective, this memento mori practice, it fosters profound gratitude for the life you do have, right here, right now. And it dramatically minimizes trivial worries. Honestly, when you remember the sheer brevity of existence, so many of the small annoyances, the petty grievances, the fleeting social anxieties that can consume our mental energy, they just fade into insignificance.
They seem so small in comparison.
Exactly. They are simply not worth your limited, precious time. It cultivates this powerful desire to live without regret by acting in alignment with your values in the present moment, knowing that each moment is this non-renewable resource, a precious opportunity.
That is a truly profound and actually incredibly liberating way to look at our lives. It really does shift your perspective, doesn't it?
It really does.
So for you listening right now, here's a little challenge based on this last principle. Think about one small thing, just one that you've been putting off, but that genuinely aligns with your core values or deeper sense of purpose in your life. How might this principle of embracing mortality, of remembering memento mori, gently encourage you to maybe take action on it, even just a tiny step today? Maybe it's finally making that phone call you've been avoiding. Maybe it's starting that creative project. Maybe it's simply expressing genuine gratitude to someone important.
Even a small action matters.
Okay, wow. We've covered a remarkable amount of ground today, haven't we? Diving deep into the enduring wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and seeing how his Stoic philosophy can really serve us powerfully right here in the 21st century.
It's incredibly relevant.
It really is. Let's just quickly recap these powerful takeaways, the core nuggets we've pulled out from our source material. We started by talking about developing immense emotional strength, right? By rigorously focusing on controlling what you can, your thoughts, choices, reactions, and wisely letting go of the rest.
Which naturally leads to mental clarity, less anxiety.
Exactly. Then we explored how daily reflection, just like Marcus did with his meditations, is this powerful, active tool for self-mastery. It lets you notice your own internal patterns, understand your triggers,
And grow consistently from mistakes instead of just dwelling on them.
Right. Then we did that radical flip on challenges, understanding how to genuinely turn obstacles into opportunities, making them the actual path forward, using ideas like amor fati to transform adversity.
What stands in the way becomes the way.
Yes. And then we anchored ourselves in that idea of living a meaningful, purposeful life, guided by those universal virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline, using them as our internal compass. We talked about the power of presence and mindfulness, even without the modern label, to combat distraction and deepen our experience.
Bringing ourselves back to the now.
And finally, that counterintuitive but liberating idea of embracing mortality, memento mori, not to be morbid, but to inject urgency and meaning into how we live each day.
Valuing the time we have.
Exactly.
And what's really crucial to get, I think, is that these aren't just like isolated tips or random self-help hacks you could pick and choose from like a buffet.
Right, they're connected.
They are deeply interconnected. They form a mutually reinforcing philosophy. Each principle supports and strengthens the others. Together, they create this comprehensive, coherent way of approaching life. They build like a powerful internal fortress.
An inner fortress. I like that.
Yeah, one that builds deep resilience, fosters unwavering clarity, and can imbue your daily existence with profound purpose and meaning, really regardless of the external storms that might be raging around you.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, our listener? Why should you care about this ancient Roman emperor's philosophy? It means that ancient Stoicism provides this genuinely timeless toolkit, a practical blueprint, really, for navigating the complexities, the chaos, the often overwhelming nature of modern existence. It's about cultivating that inner fortress, a place of peace, resilience, and unwavering purpose, no matter what external stuff is happening.
Living authentically.
Yes, it's about living a life that feels authentic, deeply satisfying, and truly aligned with your best self.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly, daily, that life is fleeting, that everything is impermanent, our possessions, our status, our relationships, even our own lives. Yet within that very impermanence, he saw that the opportunity to live virtuously, to act with purpose, is constant. It's always available to us in every single moment. So what if? What if truly embracing the impermanence of everything actually allows us to more fully engage with the eternal importance of how we choose to live right now in this present moment?
Wow. That's a powerful thought to carry with you. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Marcus Aurelius and the enduring and I think truly life-changing power of Stoicism. We really hope these ancient insights offer you some new strength, maybe some profound clarity, and perhaps a renewed sense of purpose for your own modern life. Until next time, keep digging deeper.